shift happens. And Xcel Energy is a shifty company in that its rates for electricity move around on you. This fall, Xcel will shift the most expensive rates to later in the evening. Our Marshall Zellinger is sorting through all this shifts so you don't have to.
The feedback about Xcel and the Public Utilities Commission shifting expensive on-peak electricity rates from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. to 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. later this year is not great. I already cook later, keep up on laundry later. I simply cannot adjust any later, wrote Kavy from Denver. Diane in Englewood said, I would have to delay making dinner till 9 p.m. and then eat at 10 p.m. This is not reasonable.
This is in all caps with an exclamation mark. This is not a bill increase.
As the PUC approved the October start date and the price Xcel will charge based on the time of day and time of year, the commissioners again defended it as likely causing no change to your bill. Steve in Centennial wrote to the PUC, could I request to see the data on the analysis done to show the slight savings or no change in the bill? Well, the PUC estimates that 83% of usage is during off-peak hours. Get your Xcel bill. Your current usage will help you know if you will benefit from this change or not. Take your off-peak kilowatt hours and divide that by the total kilowatt hours. If the number is 83% or greater, you have a good chance of having a similar or reduced bill when this takes effect in October. If not, you might see an increase in your bill. When will you stop shifting the money around and make my bill go down?
Over the long term, as we go through this transition, we are moving to a cheaper, more stable energy source that will start to bring rates down.
PUC Director Rebecca White explained that energy is cheaper to generate earlier in the day. Think wind and solar. Looking into the future, it's expected that demand will be highest between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. when it's most expensive to generate electricity.
Right now, our utilities have to build a system for peak demand. So they have to build all the plants and all the resources to fit really a couple hundred hours a year.
The belief is if people start using less in that on-peak demand period, Xcel won't need to build more and rates in the future can go down. The off-peak period in the wintertime, which accounts for 8 months of the billing year, that's going to go down, which is how the math works in your favor, really. So the longer amount of time over the course of a year, over those 20 hours of off-peak, will be cheaper than it is now. It's just that the expensive part, Kyle, gets to be like, I think in the wintertime, it's 5 cents per kilowatt hour more starting in October than it is now. And so, this is where math majors are really good at this, but I just know that math I gave you, take your kilowatt hours for off-peak, divide it by your total kilowatt hours. If it's around 83%, don't freak out. Make your dinner when you say you're going to make your dinner.
Yeah, I was going to say, this all makes sense, right? You understand the motivation of it, peak versus off-peak and how incentives work to change what people do. But then it's also just kind of sad to think about all these families huddling in the dark at 9 p.m. eating dinner.
So many people are freaking out about this. And I will say this, if 10 years from now rates aren't going down because people made shifts, then we'll have a story to be like, wait a minute. A decade earlier, you said, we make these changes, our bills are probably going to go down because we're going to start using more solar and wind and yada, yada, yada. If that doesn't happen, this isn't working.
We've been putting up with that shift for years, and you want the rewards. All right, Marshall Zellinger, thank you.